Baalbek in Lebanon is another ancient complex that will help us to expand our consciousness. The distance from Stonehenge to Baalbek is exactly 3,600 kilometers. This is interesting because the inner and outer points of a pentagram are arrayed every 36 degrees around a full circle of 360 degrees. As you keep spinning around the circle, the tips of the pentagram hit many significant degrees related to Earth, Moon, Sun, and the precessional cycle. All the degrees revolving around the pentagram have 9 as their digital roots. It seems appropriate that gamblers sometimes thank their lucky stars on their roulette wheel, which has 36 as its highest number. The sum of the numbers 1 through 36 is 666. Baalbek is named after the god Baal, which means Lord. The priests of Baal are mentioned in the Hebrew Bible numerous times. Jeroboam and Aaron both made golden calves to Baal. Baal worshipper or Baal-zebub, anglicized Beelzebub, came to be identified in Christianity as a demon or devil. Baalbek has been continuously settled for over 9,000 years, making its massive platform one of the oldest structures on Earth. 3 stones in its foundation present one of the world's greatest mysteries. Each of these stones weighs approximately 800 tons based on its volume and density. A megalith still in the quarry less than a mile away weighs in excess of 2.4 million pounds. With more pounds than there are blocks in the Great Pyramid, it is hard to imagine that the ancient engineers didn't understand the connection between magnetism and gravity. Baalbek was known as Heliopolis in the time of Alexander the Great. Alexander stopped at Baalbek in 333 BC on his march to Memphis, the ancient Egyptian capital. The Roman Macrobius later wrote that Baalbek as Heliopolis was a priest colony from its namesake Egyptian city of the sun. In Geomantic Information Systems Volume 1, researcher Kurt Lindahl has identified the significance of the hexagonal temple on top of the Baalbek platform and its location on the Earth. He drew a line connecting the hexagon of Baalbek with the Great Pyramid. Amazingly, the line goes through 2 corners of the hexagon and 2 of the corners of the Great Pyramid. Lindahl drew another line through the opposite corners of the Great Pyramid and extended it to the northwest. He found that it goes directly to the apex of the 32-story Pyramid Arena of Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, Tennessee was of course named after its Egyptian namesake. Incidentally, there is one larger pyramid in the United States in the form of the Luxor, Las Vegas. The Pyramidal Casino is a solar 365 feet high, which also happens to be equal to 111 meters. The Pyramidion contains a spotlight which is claimed to be the brightest beam of light in the world. There is an interesting play of ones in the Luxor Casino's 11,000 square meter area, its 11 acres of glass, and the 110-foot Sphinx sitting out front that echoes the Great Pyramid's metrology. Back at the Great Pyramid, Lindahl extended the northwest line to the southeast and discovered that it goes directly to the Kaaba in Mecca. A line starting at the Kaaba goes through 2 more corners of the hexagon at Baalbek. The hexagonal temple of Baalbek echoes the Kaaba's shape as a hexahedron or cube. When the dots are connected, I see a geomantic triangle from space. Furthermore, this triangle has the proportions of a 1:2 right triangle. In other words, the distance from the Great Pyramid to Mecca is twice as far as it is from the Great Pyramid to Baalbek. The hypotenuse of this Pythagorean triangle, the distance from Baalbek to Mecca that is, measures 777 nautical miles. Pythagoras the Greek was educated in Heliopolis, and it is to him that we attribute what was actually ancient Egyptian knowledge of triangles. The heart of the Great Pyramid is called the King's Chamber. Its floor plan is composed of two 1-to-2 triangles. The King's Chamber is therefore a microcosm of the geomantic triangle, as above, so below. The incredible thing about the 1-to-2 triangle is that it encodes both phi and pi. Instead of measuring 1-to-2, it is fair to scale the triangle down by half, so it measures 1/2 to 1. The triangle has the same proportions. Swing two arcs with compasses, and the place where the second arc touches the one edge measures 1/phi. To find pi, we will scale the triangle up by a factor of 6/5. The perimeter of this triangle yields pi with astonishingly high precision. The Great Pyramid's faces are subtly divided in the middle, which you can see under certain lighting conditions. This is a clue. Take a square and draw 3 lines dividing edges at their midpoints. What you are left with is a series of 1-to-2 triangles surrounding a 3-4-5 triangle. This is interesting because the King's Chamber itself was designed using both of these triangles. The King's Chamber encodes not only two 1-to-2 triangles, or 2 squares on the floor, but a 3-4-5 triangle in 3 dimensions.